Patch 1.2.1 is here, and with it came a number of buffs to leaders and civilizations who, well, they needed a little bit of help. But there was one leader in this patch who was buffed that made me scratch my head a bit, because I was thinking this leader was already one of the most powerful in the game, and you've made her stronger. Why would you do that? Don't complain. Let's try her out today and see if my suspicions are correct. Hi, Shaman Himiko. Buffed to give her happiness not only on happiness buildings, but also on influence buildings. The influence buildings also have a production bonus now. Yeah, I think this is going to be absolutely mad. Let's see if I'm correct. Today, I'm going to take the 3 culture per age on happiness buildings memento, and we're going to take a slightly strange choice with the second, the Chalcedony seal, which gives 1 culture and gold on unique improvements and buildings. Now, my aim is to play with happiness buildings, to play with influence buildings, and to play with unique buildings, and Himiko has a really lovely antiquity synergy. It's not Kema, it's not Mississippi, it's in fact Moria, India, who has 2 unique happiness buildings. Are you seeing my plan yet? This building gives happiness, this building gives happiness. Himiko can build both quicker, they gain additional happiness, and with my mementos they will gain additional culture and gold, albeit with a slight science penalty. Data difficulty, standard speed. Let's try out one of these new Pangea Plus maps, and I want to get into the meat of the game quickly. Let's go for a tiny map size, really squish it down. Details here, but you don't need those. You're on Discord. You know that you have access to all of the save files and the mod lists that I use. Enough of that though, let's get started. Where do we get started? That's right, turn 1, where this start is interesting. Desert and plains is a very productive start. We even have some wool for additional production and happiness, bit of wine for the culture, silk for the culture, and rubies for later on in the game. Now, this is a very good start. We need as much culture as we can get, because let me just tell you now, this ability is wild. 20% bonus culture. That is a flat boost to my empire culture number, albeit with a minus 10% science penalty. And those effects are doubled when in a celebration. Again, let me warn you now, we will be celebrating pretty quickly. I could move towards the wool, which is tempting, but I would lose a turn and I would become out of range of this silk. There are 2 good science tiles. I do have some mountains over here. In fact, there's some really good things for me to work with, so I think we're going to found in place. So far, a very normal capital. We'll start on the scout to make sure that we can see around, and we're going to work our way towards these 2 resources as quickly as possible. The wine will give us more happiness so that we can celebrate faster. Trust me, we want to be in a celebration for as long as we can, and the wool will let me build things. You can see here my bonuses are kicked in already. Instead of 10 science and 10 culture, we have 9 science, which is slightly less than normal, and 12 culture. Oh, this is going to be a laugh. 2 goody huts right on the border. Nice. There's a lot of rough terrain, but it's a plantation and a pasture. Those are the 2 that we want to work first. So in terms of technology, let's start with animal husbandry, then we'll go to pottery, and then I'm going to go to masonry, because we do have a decent monument start here. Let me just show you roughly what I'm thinking. There's a nice science tile there, and there's a lovely culture tile on that spot. As a reminder, the happiness adjacencies on my unique buildings are for quarters, wonders, and mountains. So I want to put them in places that are going to be fairly in the middle. So actually, the unique quarter is going to go there. A little bit of a mountain adjacency, but mostly there will be quarters around. Second scout, go on then. Now we're working on animal husbandry first. I would like to get the wine as quickly as possible. If I gained this tile, I'd have access to both of the resources really quickly. This tile though has a little bit of happiness, but in order to get the efficiency here, I will claim this tile. It's slightly worse, but it gives me access to the 2 tiles I want quicker. You know, you win some, you lose some, that's fine. 15 production or 75 happiness. This would finish the scout immediately, but this would take about a third of the time off my next celebration, and I do want to celebrate fairly quickly because then I can get my culture bonus firing. We'll take the happiness for now. City-state found just to the bottom left of me here, and a natural wonder. This is the natural wonder that has happiness and production as well as culture on rough terrain. This is now an immediate settle. However, we need to save up 170 influence first. I want to befriend this city-state before I settle near them. Why? If I settle near them first, they will become agitated and they will dislike me. My relationship will sour and it will take twice as much time to befriend them. So if I start to befriend them first, they ignore the fact that I settle near them. them. It's just a timing thing, but it should work nicely. Speaking of, there is actually a second independent nation down here, a culture city-state. Okay, so this settlement might be a bit delayed down here. But there's no fresh water. This is, interesting. I'd probably have to settle on one of these tiles in order to make use of everything. For now, I'm going to assume that the settlement will go there and that one of these two tiles will have to be a fishing key. I'll mark these so that I don't forget about it. I need everything to become connected on my own continent. Now, is the culture and happiness more vital or is the production and happiness? For me, it's the wool. So we'll work this nice and quickly. There we go. We're going to celebrate a lot faster now. More scouts, more warriors. We have 2 friendly villages near us, but I don't want to assume that the world is going to be too nice. So we'll build a couple of warriors now. The last few games I've had, I've been absolutely ransacked by villages. I just don't want to really push that today. Happiness and culture. Let's just pile in on the things that I'm good at. So the first policy is finished, and now we have a choice. Mysticism will unlock the Pantheon, and with Maria India, we will get a double Pantheon, which is really exciting. So I do kind of want to go down there. Discipline means that our scouts can go around the map faster and more aptly, but the Mauryan Civic will unlock my unique buildings, and I want to do that as quickly as possible. I think what we're going to do is open up the Pantheon and then go into the unique tree as fast as possible. I'm also going to go for Classical Republic. We're going to lean into the percentage culture bonuses as much as possible because trust me, the culture generation on this Civ is wild. Speaking of, Charismatic Leader +2, but again, remember we get +20% on all culture coming in. That is a science and culture resource. Flax. Let's keep an eye on that. It's pretty useful. I have a warrior that is a little bit of defense. I'm going to start now with a granary because it boosts plantations and pastures, and I'm going to build it in my city center. This isn't a particularly good tile, but it does now give adjacency to the unique quarter around the palace because that will be a quarter in itself. Huzzah! 75 happiness towards next celebration. We've actually hit the celebration on turn 10. It's pretty good. Tile becomes a source of horse. That would mean that this settlement would be a little better, or 20 food to the capital. I'm actually going to make a horse. If it's within about 10 tiles of the capital, I'm always more likely to do that. Just makes my next settles even better. And here's the celebration. We're going to claim 20% bonus culture. This celebration means that I now get 40% culture and -20% science. Everything stacks and we go from 14 all the way to 19 culture per turn. The insane amount of early game culture really does help with the speed of this build. Oh, she's such a good leader. Tin, jade, decent resources, but nothing that's getting me too excited around here. It's a bit of a cramped settle if I was to put a settlement there. We are looking for large mountain ranges. Speaking of, Torres del Paine. Oh, that is an interesting settle. It blocks the route between here and here, which is slightly annoying, but that is insane. 2 food, 4 happiness, and 1 food in production on tundra terrain in that settlement. Oh, that is nice. That's really nice. Animal husbandry has given me food on this pasture. Excellent. Now we're going to go for pottery and make sure that this plantation gets extra help. Okay, I can move through. There's cotton and camels. Oh, now this is not a bad settle, actually. So much going on up here. Hatshepsut of Egypt. A wonder builder, a culture accumulator. Hello, I am saving up my influence, but I think a friendly greeting is always worth it. I don't really want to be at war today. If we can avoid war, all the better. However, I will not spend my influence on things like local festivals or culture exchanges. Instead, I'm going to save that. I want to befriend these city-states as soon as possible so I can settle down here. Here's the wine. 2 happiness in the capital and 10% culture when in a celebration stacks with the culture I already had. I'm now at 20. I have doubled my culture per turn and I have not built a single culture building. Yep, that's right. Himiko, High Shaman, really did need a buff. She was so weak. She was so weak. Oh dear. 5 gold for 40 food. Oh yes, go on man. That's a great deal. Perfect, the granary's finished. We have now hit 5 population, so we now build our unique settler. It's like a regular settler, but it adds 2 happiness to city halls, and happiness makes me celebrate. It's a good combo. Actually, to the north, there is a double camp spawn. Suddenly, this is looking really interesting because that would be 6 production I could send to my capital, as well as the flax. Only problem, there is no fresh water up here. I think my first settlement might have to go up in that direction just just work these resources and then go and work the mountain afterwards. I want to split it between 2 settlements, ideally. So it's going to look a little something like this. Split the mountain range between 2. As I mentioned, not going to settle here until we've done our work on the city-states. Hopefully won't take too long to do that. Military city-state just below Egypt. Hopefully that will cause them some problems. We slow them down a little bit. 36 culture doesn't really strike me as being slowed down at the moment. Hopefully we'll work on that one. Here's the Pantheon. And because of our insane culture, we've actually hit it first. Amazing. I want to play into my culture build, so we might do some things that are slightly weird today. Maybe not the best, but themed. God of the Sun for 1 culture. And I'm going to go for Goddess of Festivals, 1 culture on quarters. This is not an optimum build, but what we have done is picked 2+ culture improvements for the altar. We should have some fun with that. What do we want to do? Have a settlement adjacent to a mountain, or have a settlement with 10 population? Ooh, I think 10 population is the one that we'll get to quicker. So let's do that. And we're not spending our influence. I will take the 2 culture per turn. That is nice. It actually gives me 3, but I'm going to hold off jumping on that too quickly. Now let's unlock our unique quarter. Both of these buildings give happiness. Both of them will be built quicker, and they will trigger both of my mementos. It will massively supercharge my early game yields. I, for one, can't wait. So neither village at the moment is being befriended by Hatshepsut, which is fantastic. I'm going to start with the culture city-state. Work that. Now we need to save up 170 again, but it's a good start. I have noticed there is a second copy of wine. Ooh, I would like that. This is a terrible tile though. I don't really want to work that tile because it's not very good, but the wine is worth it because that would be 20% culture when celebrating. If we can just beeline all sources of wine on the map, we will become so cultural, it'll be ridiculous. Oh, sorry. I think that scout might be dead. Uh-oh, you're in trouble. Is everything on the same continent up here, by the way? It is. Okay, so later in the game, we can hub town if we want to. Not that I'm really relying on hub town too much. I want to play into the culture today rather than the influence. So we might play this game a little bit unoptimally. Ooh, I don't think you're surviving that, Mr. Scout. Yep, they're dead. Goodbye. I would say you did me proud, but I'm not sure you did. Now here we go. Here is the bonus kicking in. 50% production towards constructing happiness buildings, but also influence buildings. The altar is just giving happiness. It is a happiness building. It has a base yield of happiness. So you can see even though it's 90 production compared to the 55 production from a saw pit, it's actually built in exactly the same time. And it gives me culture from quarters and 1 of every yield. It's actually quite good. Now, where do I want to put it? Do I know if I'm going to be building any wonders anywhere? Maybe. This is probably going to be a gold tile. There's a science. My unique quarter is totally surrounded. Wonders are probably going to be built over in this direction, aren't they? I'm going to pop it on that tile. Is that clay pit? No, it's a wood cutter. I could replace a little bit of the science on this tile. I was going to put a science building there, but we have other tiles that could do that. Would let me move the farm. All right, go on then. Let's do that. It's not exactly optimized, but it means I can do this quicker and get that source of wine in really quickly. Now, to go and get the hides. Actually, before the altar, second settler. Let's do that. I want to get up to the 3 influence or 3 settlement cap as quick as possible. Mosh. There's another cultural city-state. Wow, we have quite a few around us. This is nice. Very interesting. 2 food. Well, that's the food on the plantations. I've got 2 plantations there. Very nice. Now, do I rush writing to get the library and the stele? I do have some decent library spots. Or do I rush the monument for culture? I think we probably want to unlock writing because we don't have any science at the moment. Science is a real weakness of ours. We need to be able to push through the trade just a little bit to unlock specialists. Trailing and civics. I know. Not much I can do about that right now. Second settlement. Do I go for the wonder, which would give me 1 food and 1 production on tundra? Or do I go for the hides and then send the production back to the capital? We only have 9 and this would give it to 15. Okay, I think we've got to go down here. Let's work on these first and look at that. Bam. Sildri. So much more production now. Rome and Friedrich. A little bit far away from me there. Hello, friendly greeting. We'll be nice. We'll play nice for now. Be my friend, please. I will just accept. If you want to do cultural exchanges with me, that's fine. fine, but I'm not wasting my influence. Not going to happen. Open borders. Okay, 2 gold per turn actually is 20% more. Embarrassing to admit that. 3 happiness on science buildings. That's not too interesting. The most interesting thing is the fact that we now have our unique buildings open. I'm just going to put 4 gold on, and that takes 2 turns off the influence, which I would love. Do I want to give gold for excess happiness? Happiness on military buildings? Or unlock the stupa? No. Now we're going to go for discipline, so I can get my commander as soon as possible. Open markets, sure. And another angry city-state below me there. Please leave my scout alone. Thank you. I'm going to go to that silk as fast as possible. We have the granary in place. I might as well get the farm, although I could focus on getting a tiny bit more production heading over to this mine. Yeah, production's what I need. Let's do that. And now the altar is being built. Do I want to rush the altar first and then my unique quarter? Probably. The altar does give more production, but the unique quarter is amazing. And here we can see the bonuses really starting to add up. 3 extra culture, 1 extra culture, and 1 extra gold from the mementos, meaning that each building is worth 4 or 5 culture. Nice. Yeah, I'm going to rush this. Pop that there, and then this here. We'll lose some science doing that, which is why we're trying to unlock the library. We are really going to decimate our own science with this build. Remember, we take a dreadful -10 or -20% science at all times, and my memento is killing my science even more, but I think we can get through it just about. Painted rock. Loads of culture city-states on this map. Interesting. Second source of hides. Throw that into the capital as well. Nice. The production's looking amazing now. The only problem with getting the hides first is it means my town is gaining population slowly, so I'm thinking about putting something like a granary in, but I think we can do this fine. Torres de Pagne will actually make sure that we can grow to an extent. Main thing is just making sure we split it between the 2 settlements. Speaking of, it's my 3rd settlement. No fresh water, again, not great, but we can claim 1 of these tiles now, meaning that we're now getting the food and production. JB Genius, all I need to do is claim this 1 tile and you'll have the same. More culture? I think we grab more culture. We're going to go from 20 all the way to 30. Nice. We are a wine-fueled economy right now. Everyone's drunk on wine and everyone is loving it. There's the city-state. Okay, we're going to be opening up this space in just a couple of turns. Would I like more happiness? Production towards all units, or a 3 warrior? This is the bonus that really applies for later in the game in case I get attacked. So 10% production towards all units. Let's do that. That is lovely. And look at the altar. Oh, that's looking good. Up to 43 culture per term. If Egypt wasn't in this game, we would be winning that. Alas, never mind. 5% production towards wonders is very tempting. I'm gonna claim the megalith first, which is a slightly weird choice, I know. It must be placed on flat terrain, but it gives 2 culture, and it's a unique improvement, which does get boosted by my memento. So we're gonna start to, again, just build this slightly weirdly. I'm not taking exactly the optimum builds here. We're playing into the leader. I want to show just how crazy powerful she is without really needing to do anything silly. Lafayette. All right, we'll give you a friendly greeting as well. I needed that for the city-state. I don't want to lose access to this. Code of laws now. Let's get that merchant up and running. There is gold. There is rice. Loads of things that we can get on trade routes. And my commander stayed stationed in the city center for now. It'll give the settlement more happiness. Another building finished, and look at that, 50 culture now. Oh, that is lovely stuff. We also have a source of cotton loaded into the capital. 20 production capital. Very nice. I like tundra starts for this reason. They tend to be very productive indeed. The friend independent, and here we go. Now we can settle on that tile. This scout cannot catch a break. Run away again. Code of laws. Petra. Great Steely. Both of those would be amazing picks for me. Yeah, I would very much like these wonders in the capital. I think that's going to be a wonderful thing to do, but we're going to start with the brickyard because I can create a quarter, which gives me more culture, but it also increases the science from both of these adjacent districts, as well as giving the production. So that's a very nice building. Then we'll work out what to do from there. Masonry time after that. We do need more than an 8 science. That is something that we should probably have a look at soon. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Clan networks now. One thing at a time, you know? 10 population in the settlement. The boost is there. Now we can have 300 happiness towards the next celebration. Awesome culture. I'm just going to keep going for the celebrations. Effectively, what that means is that we will just rock my culture bonus throughout. And 1 cultural attribute point if I have 15 points in Silk Roads. That's difficult to get this early in the game, but it sets up for later. Now, my trader, that is 5% extra food everywhere and some fish that give me some more food. Yes, I'll take that. Thank you very much. More influence is nice, but the codex is a really, really needed source of science. That takes me back to 10. Oh, we have not lost science now. I can't believe we're at that point. It's ridiculous, but there we go. Another celebration instantaneously. Let's get wonder construction. I'm going to be building some wonders now. A mysticism gives me 6 extra food. Let's plonk that in quickly. JB Genius is going to grab this tile. That means we now own 1 tile of Torres in both settlements, and that food and production has now gone to all of these tundra tiles. Excellent. Well, I can hog this tile now. Not going to be a problem. You want to work them all. It's a lot of spare happiness. Now, out of Borman, 5 production and JB Genius 10 production. I was thinking where I wanted my next city to be. I think it's got to be JB Genius. Do I do that, or do I get the library first? 4 science is a really big deal for me. We can do that with the flax. No, let's go to the city. Okay, so second city is here. There is adjacency from the natural wonder, so we could start to build my unique district nice and quickly, which I think we will. Let's start though with the altar. Do I start with the altar? No, let's start with this. That just moves the population onto a better tile. Now I put the altar down and the other unique building, and then we'll rush the altar through quickly. Let's start work on Steely. I know I said I was gonna make this a gold tile. I've changed my mind. I change my mind a lot in this game. It's just something you have to learn. Trade route, done. Fish, Grover City. What next? I think settlement limit. Let's go down the fun stuff. Oracle into entertainment. More happiness, more culture. So many endeavors being sent my way. For once, everyone's being fairly friendly. How long is this going to last? I'm not sure, but I'm at 60 culture now. We've taken the culture lead on deity in antiquity. This is only going to get more silly. Now, let's go and grab that source of horse and exploit all of these boosted terrain tundra yields in Borman. Entertainment. Hanging gardens already built. Or it's slightly worrying. Aha! An economic city-state. I might claim trade route range so that I can trade with Egypt a bit better. Or I go for the Emporium, a second option for a unique improvement. Yeah, I want to build loads of these. We're just leaning into the unique improvement build here. Why not? Ah, culture from Silk. Okay, I will start moving some resources out of my capital for this now, because this extra culture is significant. Somehow we built Steely. 200 gold in my capital, as well as some adjacency on my unique quarter that's next to it. Look at this thing. It is loving life now. Already it has 24 yield on the quarter. This extra gold is looking lovely. I mean, what do I want to do with this extra gold? I don't even know. I might save up for Borman, you know, make this into a delightful city. The monument needs building quickly though. This thing has a production bonus, actually a considerable production bonus, and it gives influence, and it gives culture and happiness. Yes, 3 turns is fine on that. Irrigation, settlement limit. It boosts it nicely. Mock. Let's work on them, and we now have spare influence. I might start actually accepting the agreements that other people give me. Monument done. 3 production on the saw pit is too much to ignore. Start putting that down now. Mausoleum has been built. Man, that wonder is always built so quickly. How about a cultural exchange? She supports it. There we go. Here are the numbers. 70 culture again. Delicious source of horse. Much gold for Borman. 700. Oh, we've almost got that high. Tasty. Now, the library. I'm just starting to map out some of the yields and locations of wonders in other settlements. The settlement has a distinct lack of space, which is not ideal. I think we can make it work. It's going to be a bit of a squish, though. Oh, I really want to take the 20% culture, but wonder building. That's what we're up to now. That's taken me to 100 culture and 12 science. Oh, that's a silly amount of culture. Very nice. Very nice. Start working on Oracle, please. There we go. Being very careful with the way that we gain terrain around here. It does work because now we have flax. Although I realize, again, this isn't going to work because I can't build a district around this way. That's going to be annoying. JP Genius, I'm sorry. You very much are cramped. I'm sure you'll be fine, but I do apologize for the amount of squishness you have. Rites and rituals for more happiness. And yes, any cultural exchange coming in I will support because it gives me insane culture. Welcome, Borman. You're a city as well. Start on the altar, as you can build that nice and quickly. And after you're done there, the unique quarter. Usual job, just get it built. Yields, that's what we need. Oh, a scientific attribute point. That's really good because 3 science per turn is enough to give me like 20% extra. Writing mastery, important here. 1 codex will give me a big boost in science as well as the +1 science on the library building itself. We need more of those. We desperately need more of those. Production for the capital, delicious. These sort of drops just mean that I can move things around and keep the production in every settlement nicely. The Oracle, come on, that'll be an amazing pick for me. Settlement limit grows. And the city-state joins me. I'd love culture on monuments, I really would, but I think in this instance, production on wonders, that's 15% because it's my 3rd city-state, which takes time off the Oracle, which helps me to build those quickly. Now, citizenship, we're going to shoot up. See if we can pick up Angkor Wat or Nalanda. 3 altars unlocks Bulgaria. I don't think we're going to be playing as Bulgaria, but also don't tempt me too much. It is very tempting. 3 production on that tile, another 2 production on this. Wow, Borman is really getting productive all of a sudden. And the fact that I can just spam the unique quarter down really quickly, it massively helps. We've got another settler now making our way down to the south. We need to pick up these 2 placements if we can. 6 settlements. It won't be enough to win this game, but it will certainly help. Now, sailing into currency so that we can get specialists on my unique quarters. The border town, the wonderful Setic. None of my settlements are on freshwater, which is very frustrating, but I think we should be fine. Let's first go and grab this wonder. That means that rough terrain now has 2 culture. Excellent. We'll go and grab that wool next. And did we do it? We did. Oracle. That's a nice chunk of culture every time we hit any sort of narrative event now, as well as some more adjacency on my libraries in both directions. And 200 gold. Did I mention the 200 gold? Well, I should mention the 200 gold. It's awesome. Another celebration. Oh, it's just lovely. Let's now state on the Gate of All Nations. Yeah, the capital just wants to be building wonders. Whilst we've got the culture to unlock them at rapid speed, that's, I think, what we want to do. Citizenship, food in towns, not worth a lot, but production towards culture buildings, that's something that is actually pretty good. We'll hold off that for a second. Just spending a bit of gold on a library, just for some more science. So yeah, we just need just the bare minimum. That's what we need. The bare minimum. 139 culture. That's not the bare minimum. That's really quite good. Sailing, currency, culture. We now have a cultural exchange with all 3 people. 142 culture per turn. Oh yeah. Himiko, making deity bonuses look rubbish. It's just what she does. Next one, Gate of All Nations done. Again, we're looking for adjacencies on things like monuments and expanding the borders into places that give me more production in the longer run. I might go and grab that land quickly just to stop Friedrich from forward settling it. It's not particularly great, but it's something. Borman's finished with all of the unique buildings. Again, the yields are looking mighty fine. Excellent stuff. Make your way over to this tile for a monument. There's lots of mountains around it. Great library. Boosted by literacy. Keep working on it. Steal government secrets. I do need to start stealing from somebody. I haven't decided who, but somebody will do. Do you like people? Yeah, you're fairly friendly with most people. Let's go for an alliance. Yay, everyone wants to be my friend. And trade route to Roma. Loads of resources that can be gained there. This will annoy my ally just a small amount, but we formed the alliance, so he shouldn't mind too much. Funkleton by the mud. There is some more wool and culture over on that tile, and we have some ivory, which means tropical plains and desert wonders are slightly faster. Not rough terrain. We'll work on other stuff. How much to steal? 80, and it does take a large amount of influence per turn to do that, so we'll just save up until we can afford to make this work for everyone. Another celebration, more wonder production. Production towards towards culture buildings. I am building monuments in a couple of places. Wow, that's a good trade route. I think it's the camel. The camel is actually what I need first. Let's go trade with the camel and then we'll get a better trade route in a bit. Yeah, we're looking to go down Silk Roads as much as we can. There's citizenship. That's a good card because there's a 9 culture one hidden in there. Let's pop that in. Instead of building an emporium, unfortunately, this tile is needed for something else now. We want to build a market on it with 4 adjacency. There we go. Now it's bronze working and the production that comes from barracks. Philosophy. And there's the monument. Look, I said we'd get something cool like that. In fact, actually, I want the next happiness building. So let's go wheel for villa. That is happiness and influence. It gets a double production bonus. It would be too good to ignore. Ravenna. Right, there's the camel, which is actually the more urgent resource we want to take in because my capital is still building wonders and it has more culture. So we'll throw in the silk in this city for now. Lafayette Alliance. Sure. HUZZAH, you are the last person. Ally me whenever you fancy it. Specialists. Look at this. 3.5 science, 2.5 culture. I would like the specialist in my unique quarter, but that's a really good one to start with. Wonders of the Ancient World boosted again because Weiyang Palace is now giving me 6 bonus influence per turn and boosting the library even more. And the monument. In fact, that tile is now worth a lot. A bonus to wonder construction. Oh yeah, let's do that. Thank you very much. The cultural exchange. Well, I took the wonder construction. Yeah, this is where you find that I am a very fickle ally. I'm going to stay neutral in all of this. Sorry. Not going to happen. I don't want to get involved. I'm playing peaceful. I'm playing chill. I'm happy to just stick in the middle the whole game. Science from specialist, culture from specialist. I just need anything that gives me science right now. Please, game. Please give me some science. I know I took a big penalty, but it's worth it. It's worth sticking with me. The third library is about to get finished now. 21 gold from excess happiness in cities. Nice. Emile Bell. I can now do a lovely food project to other people, but this should actually give me a narrative event that increases the speed that wonders get built. That's nice. Right. Stupa. Culture for every excess happiness, and it is my national wonder, of course. Diplomatic attribute point from the wonder. I'm going to give myself a 5 extra happiness. More celebrations, more culture. And there's science for every surplus happiness. Oh, let's get that done as fast as possible. Okay, the villa should be double boosted because it is a happiness building and an influence building. So whilst I go and pick up this source of gold, keep an eye out for that because I think that's going to be fantastic. Might dip into the masteries nice and quickly because, again, need the science. As I celebrate, more science comes out. Things must go back in. Just having a look at the rankings. Look at how many wonders the AI has built. It's pretty impressive. Silver, hardwood, fish, pearls. A good trade route, that one. Incense for more science. Nice. No space for it at the moment, really. Guess that will be fine. There we go. Silk Roads boosted. Tiny bit more science per turn. And a 7 adjacency market. Thank you very much. Borman enjoys that a lot. Settlement limit. But there's the science. That's the card I need. Look at that. 65 science per turn. Now we actually have more than everyone apart from HUZZAH. And the scientific attribute point will boost that even more. Science towards tech masteries. I am doing that a lot at the moment. Namely, tech masteries are getting me more codices. Look how quickly villas get built, by the way. That's an 11 happiness villa. Oh, that needs rushing. Another alliance at war. No. Neutral. Not getting involved. I refuse. I am a terrible ally. I know it. I will accept that. There's Stupa. Even more culture in my capital. I believe that's my 6th wonder. Just a little bit more now. Just a little bit more. Although I will just quickly build this 12 happiness villa because of course I will. It's so good. Egypt will not like this, but I might go and settle just on this coast to pick up the camels, but also to pick up the silk. Gives me more control over the coast as well. I could go and settle over here, but this space, it's more annoying for them. And I like annoying the AI. So we've got 1 settler will move down in this direction. I might just gamble and go near the camels? I don't know. We'll send the settler down that way and we'll see what we can see. It might be more land that we just can't quite see on this little peninsula. I don't know. More fish. It's good to have the resources. I really don't have the resource space at the moment. That is the only problem. Maybe we should unlock lighthouses. That could be a really good move. Celebration though. Wonder construction. Keep it going. We only need one more. Shouldn't be too difficult to do. Importing resources now gives us gold. Ah, that settlement just flipped. Must have been in the peace deal. Interesting. Yeah, it does like to pass cities around. We've stayed out of it this game, but there's always a little bit of shenanigan that you can throw in if you need it. One resource capacity in cities. I do not remember the last time this card was useful, but it is now actually useful. Pop that in, and as you can see, there's more stuff to throw in. That unlocks a cultural point for me because we now have enough to have completed that part of Silk Roads. We're up to now 243 culture per turn. I feel like we're barely starting. We really haven't started that much because we're only really just putting specialists down. All of these specialists in my unique quarters. We're already on Future Civic. It's only turn 109. Brilliant. Let's have a look down here, see what's here. There's a city-state. Interesting. No fresh water. Okay, I'm going to settle it here. We'll have access to the silk. Guess I could try and steal the ivory as well if I settled it there. Yeah, go on, man. Let's be super annoying. Angkor Wat is going to very nicely set us up for exploration because it means my capital will have some great specialists. So, start building these. So the arrival of Kutai and Nok has really put a dampener on some of my plans. I can't make this settlement whilst this village still survives. Now, my city-state might do some damage, but I'm going to have to go and move my warrior over and do a little bit of damage to try and stop this. So here you go. Your first job, Captain JB. Off your rock. I was going to settle there. I can't do that anymore. I could settle here, but I think the problem is I need to make sure I have city connection. So I need to be on this coast. We're just going to go and have a wander over it, see what we can do. There is marble. Ah, marble and camels are both useful. I'd like to settle on that tile ideally. We're just keeping an eye on this one. Crisis is fairly okay. -1 gold to maintain my military units. We can handle that. That's fine. But Kutai needs to die. Ideally before my settler arrives. We'll see if this works. I don't know if it will. Okay, you're not moving. Fine. We'll just settle and we'll work it out in a bit. Oh, Egypt was going to settle there. That's unfortunate. Very unfortunate indeed. Never mind. Wheel of Gaiden Axe is here. Does this count as being connected? No. Is it because we don't know what this bit is? That could be a slight problem. I might need a single boat. Let's just get one galley in and then go and discover around this peninsula. I can also build a fishing quay just in case that was what was causing the issue. Got the marble anyway. Oh, that is what was causing it. Okay, that's fine. So we'll buy a tile and then bring the camel into my empire as soon as I can. Okay, we can see now. That shows us the whole way. Everything seems to be connected up properly. I think we've averted the danger just a little bit. We'll see if this works. Scout kills just giving me a nice amount of experience. Come on, Kutai needs to fall. Future Civic. Oh, we're going to make the age end a little quicker than we want here. Where do we want to go with this? Befriending independence, the next age? Expansionist tree? The economic tree? The military tree? I think we need science just to, you know, really stop ourselves from losing too much. So we'll go for this. Up to 97 science per turn. We've taken almost the science lead. Not quite. The crisis. -1 happiness in all cities for each commander level. And, oh, decentralization. I haven't specialized anything. Amazing. Camels. There we go, capital. You have everything a growing city could need. And by that, I mean just tons and tons of sheep. 11 turns on the next Future Civic. We won't be rushing that anytime soon. Oh, there's the armed forces. Uh-oh. That went from nothing to 100 in the space of about 2 seconds there. All right, we're going to need a big army, I think. Yeah, these archers. Big problem. Run away. 2 turns left on Angkor Wat. Then we'll produce an army. A large elephant army. That'll get me through the problem here. Maybe. Mathematics for the academy. City State, I really need you to spring into action here. Could you please do something? Anything right now would be lovely. Because at the moment you're just stood there being an absolute rubbishness. Angkor Wat at the 7th wonder. We have completed the culture tree. I think Silk Roads will be fairly easy. Great Library will have a go at. Pax Imperiatoria, unless I go wildly settling, is unlikely. But have I got the 2 points? No, I've just got the 1. I do kind of want the 2 points so I can get fealty next age. So we'll have a think about boosting that one. And I'm just going to take 20% culture here now because wonders don't need wonders anymore. Instead, production towards infantry and ranged units. Let's build a defense and a rapid defense at that. Okay, the defenses now start to appear. We have 2 archers and I'm going to start making some battle elephants. This is all good for my experience. We needed to have a scrap like this, to be honest. I just wish we were more in control. That's the only thing I'll say. Wasset trade route. Ta-da! Silk Roads complete. More legacy points for HUZZAH. Stop shooting my cities, please. I would appreciate it if you just all backed off. You know what? I'm going to start settling around a little bit. If we can get to 9 points, I think that's doable in the next stage. I would like to get fealty if I can. 2 extra settlement limit will be really good for exploration. Thinking ahead, that's what we're trying to do. Setek has held though. Just about held. The elephants have now arrived to really stomp out any resistance. The scourge unveiled. More troops spawn. So every time a crisis progresses, that is when the troops spawn, which is a little bit bad. Miners happy in all cities for each commander level. Tribute, barbarian mercenaries. It's a big gold cost, but we will be fine. Honor. So many city-states we never found. Let's see how this attack progresses. I think we're doing okay. Just keep fighting. Keep defending. With the last few bits of gold, I'm going to start building emporiums. Now, these are unique improvements that are ageless. So if I start to build these, you'll see the yields will remain into the next age, which is exactly what we want to see. They're moving about. They're doing damage. But Captain JB is here. And with Captain JB comes hope. Hope that we can one day fight off these barbarians. My 7th settlement. It's on the coast. It's all connected. It has some really good resources. Perfect. You should be fine. Elephant's doing good. Just pushing the enemy back for lots and lots of damage. Captain JB is going to start making my cities unhappy by promoting, but we'll just have to live with that. Actually, just looking at this, who are we going to play in exploration? I'm just going to have a quick peek and make sure that we have the option unlocked that we would like. Another Future Civic and the age is over. We totally ran out of time there. No bad thing, but it definitely finished just before we were ready. No matter. Extra science on quarters will help us out a lot in the next stage. As mentioned, just emporiums, a couple of them to go down at the end of the age to make sure that we are getting maximum yields. Wow, what an eventful age. 322 culture in what I must say was a very inefficient build, but what a fun build that was. Piling the bonuses on happiness buildings to make sure that our culture went as high as possible. As I said before, I didn't believe Himiko needed a boost, and I'm still tempted to believe that. Close game though, very close game apart from if you're Friedrich. 8 points, 7 points, 6 points. What's going to happen in exploration? Well, you're just going to have to hang around and find out in the next video. Until then, thank you so much. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye. And finally, a very special shout out goes to Glorious Petra, Klibben Thurdas, Poppy Dude, The Nickerman, Matthew Wilkinson, Paul Coffey, Portland, Toon General, Kappa Yobby Virani, The Uncivil Engineer, Radiatore, Debo91, Mushkin Mandeltort, Pete, Dan Jamo, Scott Stratton, Major King Kong, Skeptical Bear, Cinnamon Beard, Private Selection, Genoa Salami, Callum Billy, Garrett Gowan, El Truant, Creston, RB Hedged, Burial, I'm Daft, Gooberman, Dr. Bobby, Mixomatosis, MTG Golfman, Indigenous 68, Teddy Zursa, Barnaby Rex, Charlie Bears, Nate the Great, Alex Frost, Mean Penguin, Interplanet Janet, Frankincense Battlezord, Geography Teacher, Juvara, Morax, Sinikush, Echo Bear, Deja Vu, Kovawoo, Legally Trash, Sorted Dutch, Rad Bickley, Shadow of Gaia, Bob Tway, Abstract Fun, Slither Alley, JB Genius, Arctic Fox, Eggshark, Bookaluk79. Thank you everyone for your support. Goodbye.